Admission, Review, and Dismissal, ARD Committee Meeting Essentials for Parents. Thank you so much for joining us today for this virtual workshop. This workshop is designed to provide parents and guardians of students with disabilities with a fundamental understanding of the Admission, Review, and Dismissal, or ARD as it is frequently called, committee, and provide some essential knowledge on the committee's membership, legal requirements of the ARD Committee, and best practices on how to handle questions and concerns about the ARD process. The Parent's Guide to the Admission, Review, and Dismissal process is a helpful resource for parents and guardians of students receiving special education and related services. It is currently available in 20 languages on the SpedTex website. A link to the SpedTex website is included in the resources section at the end of this presentation. These are the topics we plan to review with you today. What is an ARD committee? Who must attend? ARD meeting notice and parent request for ARD. Participation options and tips. What is an individualized education program, IEP? What if I disagree? Resolving issues and resources. What is an ARD committee? Let's start today's presentation by discussing a few duties of the ARD committee. If your child is struggling in school, it is important to find out why. It may be that a disability is affecting your child's educational performance. Should your child be referred for an initial evaluation for special education services, the school will conduct a full individual initial evaluation, FIIE, for your child in all areas of suspected disability. After the initial evaluation report is completed, an Admissions, Review, Dismissal, or ARD, committee must be formed to review the full initial individual evaluation, FIIE, report and determine whether your child is eligible for special education and related services. Federal regulations refer to an IEP team. In Texas, this team is referred to as the Admission, Review, and Dismissal, or ARD committee. Should your child be determined eligible for services, the ARD committee, which includes you, the parent and guardian, will develop an individualized education program, IEP, that contains the special education and related services to address the education needs of your child. The ARD committee. The ARD committee meets at least once a year to review your child's current IEP and discuss your child's progress, develop a new IEP for the upcoming year. As a parent or guardian, you bring important information to the ARD meeting. You know your child's strengths and weaknesses and all the little differences that make your child unique. Your knowledge can help the ARD committee develop an IEP that will work best for your child. The ARD committee can also meet to review and must revise the IEP as appropriate to address any lack of expected progress toward the annual goals and in the general education curriculum where appropriate, the results of any reevaluation, information about your child provided to or by the parent or guardian in the review of existing evaluation data or READ, your child's anticipated needs, or other matters. Changes to an IEP may be made by amending the IEP if you, the parent or guardian of a child with a disability, and the school agree not to hold an ARD committee meeting to make the changes, and the school develops a written document to change your child's current IEP. If the IEP is amended without an ARD committee meeting, the ARD committee members, including you, must be informed of those changes. Upon request, a copy of the revised IEP must be provided to you. Amendment without a meeting. There are circumstances in which an amendment cannot be completed. These include changes to eligibility determination, changes in placement, and manifestation determinations. An example of an eligibility determination would be reviewing a new evaluation to consider an additional or different special education disability condition. A change in placement example is if you or the school are proposing to increase or decrease the amount of special education service time in a special education classroom for your child for part of the day. Manifestation determination reviews are when your child is assigned discipline that would change his or her placement. When that happens, a meeting called a manifestation review is held to consider if the behavior was caused by the disability. All of these types of decisions, eligibility, changes in placement, and manifestation determination reviews require the committee to meet. An amendment or change without a meeting is not allowed. Who must attend the ARD committee meeting? Let's move on to discussing the required members of an ARD committee in this next section. ARD committees must include the following members: you, the parent or guardian, at least one regular education teacher of your child, at least one special education teacher or provider of your child, a representative of the school district. This is often a principal, assistant principal, or another district administrator. An individual who can interpret the instructional implication of evaluation results. This may be an educational diagnostician, speech pathologist, licensed specialist in school psychology, but it could also be another member of the committee who fills this role, like the special education teacher or administrator. Other individuals who have knowledge of special expertise regarding your child, including related services personnel who are invited by you or the school, and this may be someone who provides related services to your child, like a counselor or occupational therapist, and also your child whenever appropriate. Depending on the needs of your child, additional members may also include, with your consent or your child's consent once he or she reaches ages 18, a representative of any participating agency that is likely to be responsible for providing or paying for transition services, such as the Texas Workforce Commission, TWC, a representative from Career and Technical Education, CTE, preferably the teacher when considering initial or continued placement of your child in CTE, and a representative who is on the Language Proficiency Assessment Committee if your child is identified as an English learner. Depending on the needs of your child, other potential members can include teacher of students with visual impairments, VI, teacher of students who are deaf or hard of hearing, and other personnel as appropriate. ARD meeting notice and parent request for ARD. Now we are going to discuss when you should receive an ARD meeting notice and ways you can request an ARD meeting. Parents and guardians are vital to the true success of a student's individualized education program, and this starts even from the first step of notifying the parent or guardian of the meeting. You should receive notice of the meeting at least 5 school days before the meeting, unless you agree to a shorter time frame. The notice should include the meeting purpose, place and time of the meeting, and a list of the people attending the meeting. If you are unable to speak English, the school must provide the notice in your native language, unless it is clearly not feasible to do so. If your native language is not a written language, the school must take steps to ensure that the notice is translated orally or by other means so that you understand the notice. Notice of the ARD Committee meeting. Be sure to promptly reply to the meeting notice. If you cannot attend, you can ask the school to reschedule the meeting to another date or time that will work for both you and the school. You may want to give the school some alternate dates and times that you can attend. Some recommendations to make sure the campus has the information they need to inform you about the meeting include: confirm that your child's school has your correct mailing address, phone numbers, and email address. Update your contact information if changes are needed. Let the school know if you need an interpreter, oral translation, or anything else to help you participate. You may request an ARD committee meeting at any time. If you ask for an ARD committee meeting in writing, the school must either schedule and hold a meeting at a mutually agreed upon date and time, or within 5 school days, provide you with written notice explaining why the school refuses to hold a meeting. Participation options and tips. Now let's discuss the options for attending the meeting as well as tips to help you have meaningful participation in an ARD committee meeting. The school must take steps to ensure that one or both parents or guardians are present at each ARD committee meeting and are afforded the opportunity to participate via other means. If you cannot be present in the face-to-face or virtual meeting, you have several options. You can attend by phone. You can request the meeting be rescheduled and mutually agree upon a future date, time, and place. You can allow the school to proceed without you and then notify you of the discussion and development of your child's IEP. Be sure to communicate with the school staff about your preference for attending the meeting. Here are some tips that can help you prepare for your child's ARD meeting while developing a collaborative relationship with your school. Request a draft of the IEP prior to the meeting so you may review the proposal and make suggestions at the meeting. Write down all questions, concerns, or suggestions that you have prior to the meeting. You can share this information with your child's school. Ask questions, offer suggestions, and bring ideas to the table during the meeting. Remember, you are your child's voice. If the ARD committee meeting will be held via video conferencing, here are some tips that will help you prepare for an effective virtual ARD meeting for your child. Share any technology concerns or potential barriers you may have about participating in the meeting virtually and confirm participation. Create your backup plan. Print documents, ask for print copies, charge your phone, have a call-in number readily available. It is a good idea to join the virtual ARD committee 5 to 10 minutes early to work out any technology issues, clarify any questions you may have about meeting norms, and to ensure a prompt beginning. Let's go over some tips on participating in a virtual ARD meeting. Be patient. Technology may not work as intended. Assume everyone is doing their best. Listen closely and wait to share your thoughts and ideas until the current speaker finishes. Introduce yourself before speaking and use video if possible. Stop frequently and provide participants enough time to ask and respond to questions and feedback. Discuss and agree on the processes for obtaining forms or signatures if necessary. Confirm the method for receiving a copy of the completed IEP document, whether you want it by mail or email, and the anticipated arrival date. Individualized Education Program, IEP. Now let's talk about what goes into an individualized education program. Remember, the ARD Committee is the group of people that develop the IEP. Key elements of your child's IEP include present levels of academic achievement and functional performance, PLAF, annual goals, a description of the special education, related services, and supplementary aids and services that will be provided, information regarding how your child will participate in state and district-wide assessments, other areas that must be addressed for your child with certain disabilities, needs, or circumstances, and transition services when age appropriate. We're going to spend a little bit of time explaining each one of these major components in more detail. Let's begin with the present levels of academic achievement and functional performance, or PLAFs. During this part of the meeting, the committee reviews the data and information regarding your child's progress, as well as strengths and areas of need in academics and functional performance. Academic areas include subjects such as reading, writing, math, science, social studies. And functional performance areas can include behavior and language. The present levels of performance must also include how your child's disability affects their involvement and progress in the general curriculum. If your child is a preschool child, the statement must explain how the disability affects participation in age-appropriate activities. Your input is valued during this discussion. Please ask questions and share any information you have about your child in the various areas. Annual goals. The IEP must contain measurable annual goals designed to meet your child's needs, resulting from the disability, so that he or she can be involved and progress in the general curriculum. These goals must also address other educational needs that result from your child's disability. The IEP must describe how your child's progress toward the annual goals will be measured and when the progress reports will be provided to you. Services. The ARD Committee decides what services are needed to enable the child to advance appropriately toward attaining the annual goals, be involved and make progress in the general curriculum, including participation in extracurricular and non-academic activities, and be educated and participate with children without disabilities. The IEP must include a statement of needed special education, related services, and supplementary aids and services to be provided. These services should be based on available peer-reviewed research. State and district-wide assessment. Children who receive special education services will take the appropriate state assessments, STAR or STAR Alternate 2, which are based on grade level content. If the student is an English learner, he or she will take the appropriate language proficiency assessment, TELPAS or TELPAS alternate. If the ARD Committee determines that accommodations are necessary for your child to participate in assessments, his or her IEP must contain a statement of the appropriate accommodations, Remember, not all of the accommodations that are appropriate for classroom instruction are allowed on state assessments. Please provide your input and ask questions about available accommodations. Remember that your input is vital to the process, so school and home are working together to help your child succeed. Transition. Transition services are a coordinated set of activities designed to assist your child as he or she moves from school to post-school activities. Initially, transition must be considered and, if appropriate, addressed at the annual ARD meeting prior to your child turning 14 years old, or earlier if the ARD committee determines it is needed. Transition must be considered and addressed at each following annual ARD. Special factors, assistive technology. For all students, assistive technology, or AT, must be addressed. For every student who receives special education services, the ARD committee must consider whether your child needs assistive technology devices and services. Some examples include text-to-speech software, digital recorders, visual schedules, and slant boards. This does not necessarily mean that all students require a formal AT evaluation. There are many items and devices that, depending on your child's needs, can be considered assistive technology. A school is not required to provide students with the best or highest technology available, but technology that provides some meaningful educational benefit. Additional special factors. Some students, based on their disability and/or needs, will have the following items reviewed and discussed: behavior, language, including limited English proficiency, communication, transportation, and/or autism, deaf or hard of hearing, and/or visual impairment supplements. Regarding a BIP, some students require the development of a behavior intervention plan to address behaviors that interfere with his or her learning or the learning of others. A BIP must include positive behavior supports. The BIP helps prevent the behavior from occurring and teaches and reinforces appropriate replacement behaviors. The BIP is part of your child's IEP. In respect to transportation, separate transportation needs will be addressed if your child cannot ride the typical bus system due to disability, safety, communication, or additional supervision needs. In Texas, if a student has a disability condition of autism, auditory impairment, and/or visual impairment, there are additional services and areas that need to be considered and addressed. Most schools have a separate form that is completed to document that these specific needs for these students have been considered and addressed. Placement. Schools have a wide variety of placement options to meet the needs of students, as IDEA requires that a student with a disability be educated in the least restrictive environment. This means that your child must be educated with children who do not have disabilities to the maximum extent appropriate. Your child can only be taken out of their regular education setting if his or her disability makes it not possible for his or her needs to be met in the regular education classroom. Extended school year. Extended school year, ESY, services is an individualized instructional program for eligible students with disabilities that is provided beyond the regular school year. These services are provided in order to prevent loss of skills or learning over longer periods when school isn't in session. The need for ESY services must be determined on an individual basis by the ARD committee. The committee will look at the data to determine if your child loses or is expected to lose important skills from their IEP during breaks in school. They will consider how long it takes your child to relearn skills they lose as part of considering ESY services. Children who lose important skills and do not regain them quickly over breaks may need ESY services. The IEP developed for ESY services includes existing goals and objectives in the current IEP that will be addressed. New goals and objectives are not developed. Closure. At the end of the meeting, the minutes of the ARD committee should be reviewed. The minutes are a summary of the decisions made by the ARD committee. If any information was noted incorrectly, please speak up. The decisions recorded need to be accurate. Prior written notice. The school must provide prior written notice to you of the decisions made as a result of the ARD committee meeting. You should receive the prior written notice 5 school days before the school plans to take or refuses to take actions related to the identification, evaluation, or educational placement of your child. This is not everything, but here are a few examples of when you should receive prior written notice. When the school would like you to conduct an initial evaluation of your child. When you've asked for your child to be evaluated and the school denies your request. When the school wants to begin or change your child's identification as a child with a disability. When the school proposes or refuses a particular education placement for your child. When the school wants to change your child's educational placement. When the school wants to change aspects of the special education or related services that your child is receiving, and when the school refuses a request from you as parents or guardians with respect to the educational services your child is receiving. Mutual agreement. The ARD process works best when the school district and parent or guardian have open communication, focus on your child's needs, are willing to work together, and follow the federal and state special education laws and regulations. The school has the ultimate responsibility to ensure that the IEP includes services for your child's needs in order to receive a free and appropriate public education, or FAPE. The IEP must indicate whether you and the administrator agree or disagree with the decisions of the ARD committee. Each ARD member who disagrees with the IEP is allowed to include a statement of disagreement in the IEP. Copy of the IEP. The school should provide a copy of the IEP to you as soon as possible following the end of the ARD meeting. Best practice would be to discuss with the school at the end of the meeting as to when you can expect to receive the written copy of the IEP document. The copy of the IEP should be provided to you at no cost. If English is not your first language, the school must make a good faith effort to provide a written copy or audio recording of your child's IEP translated into your native language. If you need an additional copy of your child's IEP, you may request one from your school, district special education, or special services department. This includes during times of school closures. When you make a request for an additional copy of the IEP, be sure to share how you would like to receive it. For example, traditional mail, pickup, email. What if I disagree? If you disagree with the decision of the ARD committee, which indicates mutual agreement has not been achieved, then you must be offered the opportunity to end the meeting and come back later. Then the ARD committee members would consider alternatives and gather additional data. The ARD committee would then come back together at a mutually agreed upon time and place. If the committee still does not agree at the second meeting, the school must implement your child's IEP as it has determined appropriate, and the parent or guardian must be offered the opportunity to write a statement of disagreement. Resolving issues. Remember, you are a valuable member of the ARD committee, and your input and feedback is important. Let's review some tips for advocating for your child. Know that it is okay to speak up on behalf of your child. Start by speaking with someone you trust, such as your child's teacher or related services provider. Build relationships. Ask as many questions as you need to get clarification about the ARD committee's proposed plan. Show emotion, but be respectful. Speaking up about your child can be emotional, but try not to take things personal. Teachers and school staff have your child's best interest at heart, even when you don't always agree. Ask about extra help, supports, interventions, etc. that may be available. Educate yourself about special education in order to be a better advocate for your child. Should you have questions about special education, please contact us at SpedTex. You can reach us via phone at 1-855-773-3839, email at inquire@spedtex.org, or via web chat online at www.spedtex.org. Thank you for joining us today.